Festivals truly have the potential to drive cultural heritage, national unity, wealth creation, employment, and tourism. Now, to discuss the role of festivals in our country, Nigeria, I'm joined by an event producer in the person of Chukwuemeka Obute, the convener, founder of Iriji Festival. Yes. Welcome to Romy Minds.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's an opportunity to be here, and I'm glad I'm here. Yes.
It's our pleasure to have you. Now, when we think about festivals, I'd like you to go back to your childhood. Which festival stood out for you, and what did it mean for you as a child?
Okay, so I'll date back to, I'm from Imo State, Ehimembano, and we have the Nwomakwa Festival. So the Nwomakwa Festival is the initiation into adulthood, and in that festival, it's always like a celebration, not just a celebration of life, but for people who are ready to get married at a certain age. They use that festival to initiate them into the culture, into tradition, then bring them closer. So it has always been like an avenue for you to bring out your spouse to say, this is the time I need to get married, you know, and everyone celebrates that culture with a lot of festivities, drinks, masquerades, and all that, you know, because it's all also spiritually rooted to say, once you come out on that festival day, your marriage, your heritage is blessed.
Yeah. Interesting. Growing up as a child, I used to go back to Ondo town in Ondo for a Kimogun festival. But the older I've become, nobody is talking about going home again for festivals. It almost seems like a childhood thing, like it has outlived its time. Meanwhile, when you go abroad, their festivals are still going strong. Do you find the same thing happening in Nigeria?
Honestly, I don't find it, and that's the gap I set out to bridge with my team at Center Stage Events and Media. So I've produced events for a long time, at least for 10 years, and we look through to see that most of the events we've done have basically been concerts, activations, and all of those kind of events, product launches and all that, but nothing speaking to culture, nothing speaking to tradition. Then we sat down and I said, this is the time to retrace, this is the time to remap the essence of culture. This is the time to redirect people back to culture, because we have a demography that are really not interested in culture at this point of the time.
And why do you think they're not interested? Because you shared your childhood experience, I shared mine, and you think that since we had such a great time that the onus will be on us to ensure that the generation coming, they're also interested. So where did the disconnect come in?
I think the disconnect is on the content that has profiled your popular medias, social media, and all of those platforms to engage them in a different means, which, I mean, I wouldn't say they are really bad means, but all of those contents that profile on those platforms really don't speak to culture. They now redirect them to a certain nuance. They direct them to a certain kind of tradition, pop culture and all that. And that diversion makes them feel, okay, this is where we are at this point, right?
So they are heavily influenced by, like, the Western culture.
Definitely.
That's what they're seeing on social media.
Yes.
So I guess the onus is on us to ensure that these traditions are also projected on social media. And I think Ojode Oba is something that a lot of young people have gotten interested in just because of the whole social media wave. Now, one of the reasons why some people are not connected to their culture is because they don't go back home. And if they don't go back home, they can't experience those festivals because they're afraid about the roads or the transportation cost is high. So what can people do to still enjoy the culture without maybe leaving the comfort of their area?
So I think you've spoken deeply to most of the things I want to say. What happened to my team when we got into ideation was we got into this bracket to say, why are people not going back to do this? Insecurity, all of those factors. Then we sat on the table and said, we are bringing back village to the city. So Iriji Festival Connect is that event that brings everything you want from the village to the city, right? So last year we had Lagos. This year we are doing Lagos. That's next week Sunday. We are doing Abuja on the 18th of October. I'm doing Port Harcourt on the 25th of October. Not a very easy task, but I mean, who's going to do it if we don't do it? So in the vein of making sure we bracket ourselves properly, we are saying, bring back these things, amplify it all across social media, do a thorough digital media campaign like we are doing presently to create an angle of diversion, even if it's not full from the first stretch. From the second stretch, you see, like last year, what I had last year, I'm not having it this year. Last year, I could just do one state.
And now you're doing Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt.
Yes.
You know,
now, guess what? Now, bringing village to the city, most of the time, it sounds very okay, but it's not so cheap. It's heavily invested, right? Because the way we've bracketed the entire event is this. Masquerade performances, the ones you cannot see here, we are bringing it. We are doing the indigenous parades, different states. Guess what? Village market, where you can only eat the things you don't get in Lagos. Akede, achicha, oba, abacha. Should I continue?
No, you're getting us all hungry here in the studio. You know, festivals have such a huge potential to drive tourism, to create revenue. And the diaspora, they are yearning for such, because that's why you see that mass influx during Dirty December. And across the world, you see people going to Rio. You see people going to Germany. You even see people coming for Osho Oshogbo Festival. So what can we do to position our festivals all throughout the year to ensure that the diaspora can come back, spend their money, and reconnect with their roots?
Yeah, so I'll respond to say there has to be an intentional conversation on sponsorship, partnership from the government. Last year alone, I mean, I wouldn't mention the figures, but it was just on my company spending a lot to make sure these things happen, right? We didn't make any revenue. For us, it was not about revenue. It was, you know, the trajectory, push it. Gladly this year, I mean, Guinness saw us and said, you know what, let's be part of this journey from Lagos to, so we have Guinness be on board, right?
And government is what you're saying.
Yes, so, and I'm saying government, so what I'm also saying government is this. It would be a bigger taste of feel. It would be a softer landing if we have government involvement to say we can project these festivals, these carnivals in this vein. Let me tell you something else. This December, my team have done a roadmap to say we won't dirty December. We will culture December.
Culture December.
So this year alone, we have 4 cultural events in December. Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, Owerri, Lagos Village Market Carnival, a whole lot of them. So if we can have the support of government, if we have not just government, if we have corporate sponsorship, people that can come to us, right? It mustn't be government. It mustn't just be food and beverage.
Why I say government is because government has...
Oh, yeah. We know. I know, right?
It can go from being just your event to being Nigeria's flagship event.
So last year, I had 13 people coming from China, all Chinese. I had like 5 Egyptians come to this same event, right? All the way because of the digital marketing campaign we've done. This year alone, I've had now we have about 400 people who want to just travel down to witness this. So what am I saying? If I have the support I need, people like me who venture into culture, who have decided to retrace the traditional map, it will be a whole lot easier, right? I'm also, at this point, I'm also using this platform to say I'm still open to a lot of partnership, sponsorship from everybody, not just government, so that we can field this cultural pattern and make it something dominant.
So I wonder if in the course of your preparation and telling people about it, if you've gotten any pushback that, why are you taking something that is our own from Igbo land and you're bringing it to Lagos? You want to take it to Port Harcourt, you want to take it to all these places. What has been your response to that?
So I'll tell you what, like, every single time. Like, even earlier this year when we started doing our pitching and all that, there are some brands that were like, okay, this event is resident in the East, here and there, and I'm telling them, you know, Edith Hamilton says the way of life of a people is dependent on culture. And, you know, you can never bracket culture to a particular zone. So in this progression, you can never restrict culture to be experienced by anybody or anyone. Last year on this event, we had like we had the Eyo Fest, the Eyo Masquerade. We had different tribes come represent. So for EDG Festival, it's not an Igbo thing for us. It's a festival that we're celebrating to say everybody in Nigeria, every culture, every tribe, come associate with us, let's celebrate it. You will be surprised that the EDG Festival is not only common in Igbo land. We only popularized it. It's there in Ondo, it's there in Edo State. So, like this year, it's a communication for everyone to come together. Let's celebrate, because the new year brings peace, it brings happiness. It's remarkable for strength, for a new harvest, a new circle.
I like the sound of that, a new harvest. And we all eat yam. Are there plans to take it out of the country? So the diaspora that can't come to Nigeria for whatever reasons, how can we export that? Because we go abroad for other people's festivals. We're here in Nigeria, we're eating Chinese food. So why can't they have the achicha, the ogba, and all of that? You know,
so yeah, so we have a long-term map to say, since last year we did Lagos, this year we did Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja. On this trajectory, we are looking for partners to come to our aid to say, with this thing you're doing, come support us. Let's take it off. You know, let's push it to the next level. Like, I will tell you, for the past 5 months, I've just been shuttling Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, all of this.
And we wish you all the best with the EDG Festival coming up. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Chukwuemeka.
Thank you.